Hey guys, welcome to another vlog. I first just wanted to say thank you to all the people who gave me advice for these videos, mainly to do with the terrible video and audio quality. And unfortunately, due to financial issues, I probably won't be able to fix those issues for a while, but I am hoping to buy better equipment in the future. So for now, deal with the low production values, and let's get straight down to some nerd stuff. Let's start with some upcoming game releases. Now, for those of you who watched my last video, you may have picked up on the subtle hint that I don't like modern FPS shooters. Screw you modern first-person shooters. And before I continue, let me clarify this in a less ranty sense. It is specifically the bland and overdone gameplay mechanics that these games pertain that particularly annoys me. Taking cover, regenerating health, unlocking new weapons in multiplayer. All good examples of a variation on a genre that do make it shine. Yet there has to come a time when you walk into a room of terrorists for the 50 billionth time and wonder if there isn't something more. Let me also scold my past self by hypocritically saying that FPSs are by no means stagnant. I just always get that impression when I see developers with their undying devotion to this overdone gameplay model, which is why I got excited about Bulletstorm. Segway win. Being developed by People Can Fly with the help of the guys at Unreal. Now, while I will admit that the game itself isn't that revolutionary, it does the smart thing of recognizing the fundamentals of what made an FPS fun in the first place. I.e., I has gun, there be enemy, I wants fun times. What's even more fantastic is that the whole tone and story of the game even lends itself to this almost childlike fun of wrecking shit up. To prove my point, here's a snippet of gameplay. Oh my god! It is so refreshing to finally see an FPS that is this ridiculous. One of the main mechanics in Bulletstorm is the skill point system, which is sort of like mini achievements that you earn by killing enemies in the most horrific way possible. Sort of like Mad World if you've ever played that. Not only that, but the toys that the game gives you in order to earn said achievements, yes, I'm calling them toys, because clearly we're not being serious here, are just so ridiculous that I almost cried when I heard that there was a 4-barrel shotgun. Because really, when I reduce an enemy to dust using a 2-barrel shotgun, I always find myself wishing I had an extra 2 barrels, so that I had some ammo left over so that I could shoot up into the air and triumph. Fatality! Bulletstorm will be coming out on the 24th of February for the PS3, 360, and PC. And if you can't already tell, I highly recommend looking at it. And buying it. But moving on to another upcoming release, Marvel vs. Capcom 3. Now, I'm going to go off the bat by saying that I haven't actually played a previous Marvel vs. Capcom installment, and I reckon that if I did get a decent amount of viewers, and if some of those viewers were Marvel vs. Capcom veterans, they would rage me to be so naive as to talk about the game. Puny morsel, you know nothing! However, I do understand the appeal of fighting games. Street Fighter 4 was awesome, despite the fact that I sucked at it. And I can especially understand a game that is as wacky as Marvel vs. Capcom, because any game in my opinion that allows you to pit Deadpool against Albert Wesker is clearly a game that's just made of win. It's just math. I always find crossovers particularly hilarious as well, because I can just imagine all the fanfiction writers going absolutely bonkers when they saw the trailer. They must have read my fanfiction! Anyway, here's some footage.
Dare challenge me? Death shall be your reward! Live and let die! Fight! Air combat!
Marvel vs. Capcom will be released to Australia on the 17th of February for the 360 and PS3. So practice your Hadoukens and Shoryuken, that's your homework for the month. But enough about games for now. Moving on to manga. And the manga I want to talk about today is the one that actually got me started on manga in the first place. One of the many contributors to my life that it is, or lack thereof. That is Black Cat. Granted, Black Cat is a bit of an old series, but I don't think anyone dispute that it's actually pretty solid. The story goes that a guy named Train has given up his job as an assassin for a company named Cerberus. Cerberus being a sort of global power that uses the power of 13 other assassins to essentially do its dirty work. In the world of business. Train then becomes a sweeper. Page vigilantes who essentially travel the world capturing bad guys, with the help of his newfound friend Sven, who turns out to be an ex-detective. Now, I actually really adore this manga. For one thing, the art is just awesome. Not to mention the front covers are awesome. And even the panels, while concise, actually have a lot of detail in them. All the characters are likable, and the series as a whole has a good amount of action, and the dialogue is fantastic. There's also a good amount of humour, as with most mangas, which occasionally misses its mark with some of the jokes, but ultimately gels quite well. I highly recommend this to anyone who actually wants to get into manga. It's just a really good example of what manga is good at. And that's all I have to say about that. Well, thank you again to all the very few people who are still watching this vlog. If you could leave a comment, I would very much appreciate it. Also, let me know about any games you'd like me to cover. or anything nerdy really. Also feel free to send me any thoughts you've had on some of the things that I've covered today, and also subscribe if it isn't too much to ask. Or this Kirby will cry.